Hi, Kevin. Welcome back. Yeah, today we're going to talk about your adjustment of your training program, about how you're going to do that. I have also a few questions from some viewers from my channel. But let's start with the program, what you were doing and how you adjusted it to get the improvements that you're still getting at 62
Okay.
year old.
Yeah. Okay. Presently I'm still doing 3 exercises workout, borderline, 3 times a week. So the body split 3 ways, which is chest and arms on Tuesday, legs on Wednesday, and back and delts on Saturday. But as the weights are growing, of course, I'm going up still 2 to 4 reps a workout. The weights are going up nearly every workout, every second. It's taken a bigger toll on my body, of course. So the next step, which will probably be April come May, we'll have to cut an exercise out each workout. So Monday it'll be chest and arms, but without the follow-up close grip bench press, which I'm doing at the moment. The leg day, I'll alternate calf raises with hyperextensions, workout to workout, week to week. And for the back day, I'll just purely do alternate parallel pull downs using just my lats with rows off my Power Tech, which is beautiful with the rolling attachment, and just high pulls. And that's with the workout. So it'll be about 4 minutes per workout, 12 minutes a week, which doesn't sound like much, but you take in the intensity, into account the intensity, the poundages, it's quite the toll. I'm getting up around 500-600 pounds for some things, and you can't do that very often anyway.
The time that is including the warm-ups, how your warm-ups going to be?
I do is for my knees and my shoulders, because it's a built-in warm-up anyway with the reps. So I'll do a couple of about 6 or so reps, leaning into my Nautilus chest machine, which warms up my upper body anyway. And I do just one of about 8. I go by feel, about 8 leg sled, which is about 3/4 my weight, half to 3/4. That's my only 2 warm-ups, because everything's got a built-in warm-up anyway. So, I mean, if you're going 10 reps, 9 of them are warm-ups anyway. So, yeah, and I've got no joint problems. So, anyway.
That's incredible, because the weights that you're using for your legs with the leg sled, that's a pretty amount.
I think because you can train your body to do it, like, back to about 2007, I could roll out of bed and within 10 minutes be handling my maximum weights, 400 pounds plus. But I train my body to do that. So I get out of bed, get dressed, of course, walk out to my gym, do one warm-up with about 330, and then go straight to 400 plus. But I train my body to do that. I mean, I probably couldn't do it now, but because I train my body to do that, I think your body adapts. As you know, your body's adaptive mechanism anyway. So I've trained my body to do this, and all my reps are strict anyway. So, there's no momentum, no bouncing. Everything's with a pause. Sometimes pause both ends, like calf raises. Yeah. So I think that's why I don't need much of a warm-up. I asked Mike about warm-ups, and he said, do only as much as you feel you need. Don't do any more. So even Mike was very reserved on warm-ups.
I think it's also maybe a little bit of a difference where you live. I mean, you live in Australia, and if your body is warm, of course, it's different than when you go to the gym and it's freezing outside. So your warm-up should be a little bit longer off.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we're on the tail end of summer at the moment, and my gym's still around, on an average day, be around 25, 30 degrees. So I have a fan on me. That's all I have. No air conditioning in there. In winter, I still do a warm-up, but I wear like a jacket or a T-shirt. So I'm always covered up more in winter. But yeah, I've never had any injuries. And one warm-up, I don't tend to warm up my lats because I don't need to. When I do pull-downs, I just use my lats. How am I going to hurt myself? You know what I mean? Just purely lats.
And how fast you do your repetitions?
Well, because of the shorter ROM, be about anywhere from 1 to 2 on the way down, and anywhere from 2 to 3 on the way up. So I let the body go by the feel, which is, how I do it. So on leg sleds, I'll lower down about 2 or 3 seconds and then go up at about 2. So it's about, you can average it 2 on average. On calf raise, because I'm always wary of my Achilles tendon because of the weights I'm handling, I try to really feel it. I do like my Mentzer told me, you pause at the bottom, take all the bounce and momentum out of it, and then just using my calves, nothing else. I just slowly push up. So probably really, even though it's the shortest range of motion, I'll probably take more toll on my calves than anything else. It sounds a bit strange, but then, I'm always wary of causing any problems.
And for the people who don't know, because they hear, of course, your cadence is fast for high intensity or even heavy duty training, but you're only doing partials.
Yeah. I mean, Mike taught me 2-4 back in the 70s. 2-4 served me all through my life. When I teach other people 2-4, that's just embedded in me. I don't have to say counting 2-4. It just naturally comes. Like you're breathing, you're brushing your teeth. That's how easily it comes to me.
Yeah, it's for me also the same feeling. I always do 2-5 because it just feels very good. The positive feels good, and the negative feels even better. You can so good concentration on the muscles, and even with the partials, I'm using that slow, this 2 and 5, even with the partials, even with the 1/3 of movement or half. The negative feels so completely different.
Yeah.
When you do it slow. And I think also that's my idea, and I agree with Dorian Yates with this, that when you do the positive faster, like he does also 1 or 2 seconds positive, then you can use a little bit heavier weights, so your negative becomes much heavier.
Yeah.
It's not just when you do a slow negative and the tension is not there, so you do also a slow positive and a slow negative, then I think the negative part of the exercise, because you're using a certain amount of weight, is not so much stress on the muscle. Then you would do a faster positive and then a slower negative. I don't know if that makes any sense for everybody, but
weights, when you work it out yourself, who can move 600 pounds fast? Probably no one, So the heavier weights are going to dictate your speed anyway. So on my leg sled, if you ask me, you put a gun to my head, as Mike Mentzer used to say, you couldn't move it fast if you paid me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. What many people, the difference between the slow cadence community and let's say the regular cadence community is that when you're using a weight that you can lift somewhere between 6 and 10 repetitions, then the positive part is when you do it fast, you don't have momentum, or almost not. Maybe the first few repetitions, but later you do not have any momentum. It's not that when you push the weight up in 2 seconds, then the weight flies up. It's not going to happen. It's only when you're using light weights and you do that and you do a fast cadence, then the momentum is there. But when you're pushing the resistance and you push it as hard as you can, it goes still slow, goes still in 2 or 3 seconds up, and then relax and go back with the slow negative. So anyway, the momentum is not there. Only when you use lightweight.
Yeah. I think, when it comes down to all boiled down, you got 10-10, 5-5, 4-4, 8-8. I've heard every momentum. I've tried most of them, I suppose, at one time or another. As long as the tension's on the muscle, it all comes down to tension at the end of the day. So, like people, I've seen big debates on the internet about, I use 10-5 but I use 10-10, and it's all dogma at the end of the day, because if the tension's on the muscles, the tension's on the muscle.
Yeah, it's more about the last few repetitions.
Yeah,
and the first repetitions is just a safe way to go towards the last repetitions. That's why maybe they do it so slow. It doesn't matter. If you go faster, the risk of an injury becomes maybe a little bit bigger. But I never had any injuries doing a 2-second cadence. So what risk? Okay, maybe for some people, but I never had that. So I'm not going to because there's a big difference between doing a cadence of 2-5 or just go within 1 second, go up. And that's the explosive part. When you can do it in a half a second, the weight, and the weight is not heavy enough, then you should should slow down. You should not just explode the weight up. You should, like with the chest press, let it rest just not a second, just a fraction, and then start pushing. And as soon as you feel it moving, then go faster. And not and that's the difference between because I see so many times they're talking about this slow cadence, and they're talking about explosive this, explosive that, and you should not do this because of risk of an injury. But when you do it in a faster tempo, but with as soon as you feel a little bit of movement and then go up, you do not explode the weight up, but you do it with a little bit more force. So you can concentrate after that again on your negative. I think that.
I mean, when you get down, I asked Mike, as we talked about prior, I said, why'd you pick 4-4? Because, even he knew there's an arbitrary number. Like I asked him, he said, no, you wouldn't use 2 or 4 on his style with pull downs because you got the longer range of motion.
Yeah.
And then again on cast, which only short range motion, he didn't really expect 4-4 either. So it was just an average, and he said that to me, an average that suited most exercises. But again, it's arbitrary. Like he could have picked 5-5, he could have picked 3-3. The whole idea was number one rule, I don't know if you know anyway, as a personal trainer, not to injure your clients. That's the number one rule with any personal trainer. So Mike obviously never, as far as I know, and I've talked to a cross-section, never injured anyone. 4-4 suited most exercises, he said. And thirdly, it's under control. I mean, you can't cheat with 4-4. It's virtually impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Even with pull downs, I think you'd be pushing to cheat with 4-4. So 2-4, if I was doing full range of motion, and about 1-2, and about usually twice as much. Whatever I do, if I lift it in 2 seconds, I always twice as slow. So with partials, so it's about 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Perfect. And a pause. So I always got a pause. You fight to get the contracted position, but very few people hold it. So even Mike said that once we can get contracted, hold it. Like when I do hard pulls, I hold it for a second. Rows, I hold it. Pull downs, I hold it. Even my chest press, like in my Nautilus, you get a contraction, so you can hold it. Calves for sure. You can't do it on legs, of course, because unless you use a leg extension. Anything that's a contracted position, Mike always said pause, and I always do. So I probably could have handled more if I didn't, but I'd get half the results, I think.
I think also when you cannot pause just for a fraction of a moment, I think the resistance is already a little bit too heavy. Or you use momentum. When you use momentum, then you most of the time you cannot pause because it's too heavy for you. If you use a regular cadence, hold it, and then go back like with all isolation exercise.
Ego. I worked out a lot of ego lifting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Powerlifting, did the 3 powerlifts in my life, and those guys were huge. And I mean, no one had to tell them about momentum. They push from heavy weights. Obviously, they didn't care about the muscle stimulation. But I think I told you last time, Walter Thomas was built like a bodybuilder, but he wasn't a bodybuilder. But he had everything: in chest, arms, legs, calves. And I even talked to him. I said, "How'd you get so big?" Yes, the 3 powerlifts. That's all he done. And the guy had everything. You look him up online. He had a massive chest, huge arms, big cap delts, decent forearms for a black competitor. He had decent calves and huge bulgy, that bulge quads. And I asked him, how do you train? He goes, I do 3 powerlifts, 1 each day a week. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's people that don't want, because when they, as you know about powerlifting, when you move up another weight class, you've got to compete with heavier people, but your totals look lower. So they actually don't want to move up weight classes. So it's like a side effect. So
You want to stay a little bit under because immediately the numbers go up again.
Exactly. And that's back in 1981. So it's stuck in my mind all these years later. After a while, to seeing him, it really drove home the importance of big weights and what comes from them. I mean, don't get me wrong, I get scared of the weights I handle sometimes, but necessary evil.
It is.
The bar bending and especially when I'm putting more and more weights on my leg sled. I see the bar with it, and it bounces now. When I get in position and you get your back firm up against the pad, the machine vibrates.
Okay.
So, you know, sometimes you're thinking, I hope they've made this to specifications.
You should put a camera there that if it goes wrong, then you have something to make money off.
I put 2 pins. There's 2 pins. One pin they give you that holds the weight sled coming down. I put 2 pins just in case. I doubt it because they're very thick pins, but I put 2 in case the first pin fails.
Yeah,
Catch on the second one.
Second one catches it. Yeah, yeah. But people like these failures, so record it, and then you can get rich while you're sitting in your wheelchair.
That's why I told you I brought a new pull down machine. I maxed out my power tech at 130 kilos. This one takes 800 pounds. So I don't think I'll be maxing that out. But even then, you always got that in the back of your mind. You see the weights and you're thinking once they get close to the probably 500-600 on that. You know, I checked with the manufacturer, they said 800 pounds. So I think when I pull 800 pounds, if I ever do it, well, that's going to be Dorian Yates.
I think so, yeah. Then you have to write another way. Yeah, so your program changed.
Yeah. I had to. The problem with the anterior delts, overlap's a big thing the more advanced you become. And I was getting about 3 or 4 days aching anterior delts, which isn't comfortable for driving, turning doors, washing your hair, making food. So I put everything into the one workout that works the anterior delts, which is my knotless chest machine. I'm going to do a close one, which I probably won't even need because just the press alone is getting my triceps. And then the pull downs indirectly obviously get your anterior delts. So that's the pull down for my arms, which Mike Mentzer working the biceps. But then for my back on the Saturday, it's just my lats on the other lat machine. And that doesn't get my anterior delts. So yeah, overlaps become a huge thing, and it's going to get more prevalent the stronger I become.
You really have to cut down in your workouts.
Yeah,
and the overlap.
Yeah, I'll be down to about 4 minutes. Probably, I can see by the end of this month, probably.
Okay, that's very short, 4 minutes.
It is. You know, it works me out. It doesn't sound like much on paper, but in application, like I've always said about sprinting, if you sprint, 10, 15 seconds, you know, you compare that to a long distance runner that can run virtually all day, every day. It's night and day.
Yeah, it's the difference, intensity of effort. The more intensity you put in your workouts, the shorter you can train.
Yeah. It takes that in me immediately. As Mike Mentzer used to say, it's immediate. You know, like it's not like I do it and I'm wasted. It's immediate. Once I've done calves, then do my leg sled. Sitting down is the next thing on the agenda.
So you're really regressing in numbers of exercises also, and intensity, because I had some question.
Mike's famous quote, he said, if you're training hard enough, you won't look for ways to do more exercise, look for ways to do less.
Yeah.
And that's very prevalent. I'm reminded that every year that I train is that I'm not looking to add more to my routine, not in a long shot, because I'd water down my efforts then. I'm looking for ways to do less but get the same results. So when I'm handling, 600 pounds, I think my leg sleds handles. When I'm handling that, I'll probably use bands or something like that. Once I'm up to about 700 pounds, you know, it probably I have to do it by itself then. So, yeah.
That's advanced, because I had some question from some viewer. That's how do you think a beginner should train? So you never, especially with high intensity training, that you were never in the gym. So for me already, you have to learn how every exercise works. So or hire somebody or find out yourself how every exercise.
I mean, for me, Knotless was full body. It was only 6 or 8 exercises. So they could feel the muscle and feel what it's like to have weights and the movement. So you do 2 for lower body, and I think it was 4 for upper body. And that's how I train a beginner, because, you don't need every exercise under the sun even then, even though you can recuperate from it. They don't know where failure is. They don't know where they're starting to get to failure. So just do full body workout, stop about 2 reps short of failure. You don't want to get too sore. If you do, you can train 2 days in a row to dissipate the soreness. And then as you learn your body over about 2 to 3 weeks, then I could train people all out. But yeah, that's the way Mike Mentzer had me training in the very beginning when I used to read his routines, and I'd say full body.
How would that look per week, and which exercises? Let's say.
Well, I mean, I used to advocate squats. I don't anymore, but if you wanted to, because you wouldn't be handling huge weights, you could do a squat, a calf raise. You do a pressing move, like a chest decline press, preferably, or dips. You do a pull down or a row, preferably a pull down. You don't even really need delts because they work indirectly. So you do maybe a tricep and a bicep. That's it. And that would be your body head to toe.
3 times per week?
Yeah, 3. To start with, because you can use a lot of weight, you're not taking a lot out of your system. It's like learning to ride a bike. If you ride the bike one day, don't do it for another week. You think, gee, how did I do that again? You know what I mean? So you do it 3 days a week. And then as your weights build up, you know your body and feel your way around. Then you can start training heavier, more efficiently. Yeah.
So let's say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you do this program, and then for the next few weeks, and then cut down to 2 times
You'd
per
have to
week.
eventually. I mean, you know within yourself, I mean, once the weights I was handling when I started in 78 versus what I was handling even 980, completely different ball game. You know what I mean? I couldn't possibly 980 train as I was in 78. No way in the world. So yeah, it's a learning process. You know what I mean? Like, your body, you don't know how to start with. No one does, even the best of us. But once you start to see and feel the movements and feel what's working, get the movement, the groove, then your weights are going to, if you train properly and recuperating, your weights are going to go up naturally anyway. So,
write down your progress. Write down your progress in the gym and how big the muscles are.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I mean, a beginner's not going to probably go up about 2 or 3 reps anyway, even if it wasn't going to failure. It's all new to the body and the mind. But after a while, it's going to, if you don't train properly, that's going to drop down to 1 or 2 reps maybe. I mean, I'm lucky at the moment. I'm still getting up 2 to 4 reps a workout. And everyone I train does the same thing. But that's with quarter reps, which I'd rather a beginner learn full range, then go to quarter reps. You got to learn the whole muscle before you know how to get better results.
Yeah. Would it change anything also because first you learn about the full range reps to because you do the quarter reps to change once in a while, that you say for a few weeks I do quarter reps, or a few weeks I do a full range of motion. Would that change anything?
A reason to, you know what I mean? Like, as we know, full range have a sticking point, and the fact that from muscle physiologists, the maximum tension of the myosin actin is at the quarter range anyway. So it'd be like putting trainer wheels back on a bike. You know what I mean? That's my way of thinking. Why would you train more efficiently if you didn't have to?
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, I could go back to 4 reps. My weights were down. My intensity would still be high, but obviously less than what it is now. I'm getting the results I need now. I told you since we last talked, I put on 1.5 kilos in 2 weeks, 1/4 inch on my quads. My legs have never been over 27 inches in my life. And why train less efficiently if you don't have to?
Yeah, that's true. But it comes to the next question, because it fits perfectly in there. Because how long is it going to take for you to achieve your maximum potential, your natural maximum potential?
Let's think, like, how long's a piece of string? You know what I mean? Like, Mentzer even admitted he didn't reach his genetic potential. And Mike Mentzer trained more along the right lines than most trainers, bodybuilders. And with his genetics, usage aside, even he didn't reach his genetics. So if that's with someone of that caliber, me and you're just Mr. Averages, you know what I mean? I'm 62 now. If I'm still gaining and still progressing, You know, I mean, I still want to get my 18-inch arms, my 55-inch chest, my 28-inch quads, my 19-inch calves. If you stop chasing your goals and say, oh, well, that's it for me, you might as well just take up knitting. That's one way of thinking about it. If you don't chase goals, why do it?
That's true. Yeah, we're never happy, actually. Oh, happy, you are happy, but you want to go further. You want to see what is next.
Well,
Yeah,
you don't know whether you can get 18-inch arms. You won't know for ages. I mean, I never thought I could get 17-inch arms. You know, through the 80s, I had like 16, lucky 16 and a quarter, 16 and a half. I thought, wow, 17 is like otherworldly. But once I cracked 17, I'm thinking maybe I can. I mean, Mike Mentzer, honest Mike, with his 8.5-inch wrist, which we talked about before, he got 8.5-inch wrist, 8.5-inch arms. So he got 10 inches bigger than his wrist size. I got 7-inch wrists, and my arms are just over 17 and a half at the moment. So actually, if you work on a ratio, I gain more than Mike.
yeah, but I think you have to look at it like this also.
Yeah.
And I think also with your natural potential, I think you can never actually reach your natural potential. I think there's always something that holds you back with the intensity and the recovery and doing everything perfect in life. I think I think when you look at it, how much can you go? How I should say this? Well, I explained to you that the first year that I trained, I gained 5 kilos without knowing anything. What I was just training. I was in a gym that nobody knew anything about it. All I got was some magazines. And first year I gained 5 kilos. Second year again I gained 5 kilos. A year after that, 2.5, and after that a little less even. And now I gain still every time a little bit, really little bit, a little bit. And I'm 100% sure that if I knew what I was doing then, what I know now, then I would have gained this 10 kilos probably in 1 year.
I
And
agree.
that happens with a lot of people, that the first year, that's your bang. That's the most what you gained ever in 1 year. Second year, half. Third year, half of that, and it getting less and less and less because your body is adapting and try to figure some ways out.
Well, the
Doesn't
body, you know that the body wants to stay the same. Having
Yeah.
stays down.
Yeah.
So these gains I make, you know, I made it with the Mike's consolidation routine. I made it with the Ellens and Duns Big. I made it with maximum contraction training, and I made it recently by modifying my routine. These bursts that I make, I couldn't do it every month, otherwise I'd be bigger than my house. You know what I mean? But it happens, and then you got to be patient that it happens. And Mike Mentzer said that many times he wanted to give up bodybuilding because he wasn't gaining as he hoped. But then suddenly, within a week, he'd be 5 pounds heavier. So if that's how it is for the genetic elite, me and you are just Mr. Averages, you know what I mean? The growth comes in spurts.
Yeah.
It doesn't, me and everyone I know, it comes in spurts. So this 2-week period, I don't expect to put on another 1.5 kilos. I'd be lucky if I put on anything. But then maybe next month it'll happen again. Who knows? It's always striving. If you're reaching for the high hanging fruit, you know what I mean? That keeps you going back in the gym, handling the heavier weights, taking the pain, getting sufficient rest, nutrition, and naps. As I said last time, I make sure I get at least half hour, 20, 30 minutes per day. That's very important to my gains. And that'll never change.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. That was a follow-up question from the first question about how long it takes to achieve your genetic potential with H.I.T. And how would you recognize that you got your natural potential? Well, actually, you never recognize it. You recognize that you got the first part because it just slows down.
You would have seen the fullness, the difference in looking your body in the mirror. I mean, the mirror speaks a lot. I take stats, as you know, every 2 to 4 weeks I take stats. I've got a journey going back to 1980. I started taking my measurements back in 1980. And Mike Mentzer brought out his heavy-duty journal. So I can look through, I've got 3 books here. I can look through and say where I gained, you know what I mean, and what I was gaining every 2 to 4 weeks. But sorry, but for the average person, you're not going to suddenly look in the mirror and say, "Oh, I got." But with quarter reps, having said that, it's the only thing I ever saw immediate results. Within 2 or 3 weeks, I looked in the mirror. I never had these delts before. You know what I mean? And it's everyone I talk to and everyone I've trained. So with quarter reps, I think the growth's more, I like to say, more pronounced, if I can say that. And I've noticed since I've got my enormous chest machine, I've got fibers in the middle of my chest I never had before. I've got these new, I've never seen on anybody, I don't know what they are, these new weird lines on the outside of my quads, on the outside of my upper arms. Never had that before. I don't know exactly what they are, but I'll take them. It's obviously growth, just like a weird line, I mean, yeah, it's weird. I've never had it before. It just happened in the last one.
That's strange.
Not a stretch mark or anything. It's just a weird line that's appeared on the outside. I was asking my father the other day. He goes, "Yeah, I can notice that." So it's not just me looking in the mirror, but it must just go past of how you grow.
Okay, but it's something with the muscle tissue that it looks like it?
Probably how the muscle expands, and you got the brachii on the outside of the arms. And it's got to do between the triceps and the brachii, and yeah, it's a really weird thing. It's hard to explain, but I've got it on the outside of my quads as well, so must just be the way I grow. Yeah, who knows?
Mysteries. Oh, maybe somebody knows. Maybe they can comment below. What kind of speculations they have, what it can be.
But also, I think another thing which we didn't touch on yet, which is very important, the stronger you get and the more advanced you get, the more you know how to contract the muscle. And that's very important. I mean, a beginner, he goes by feel. He doesn't know. It's like getting on a horse or getting on a bike. You go by feel because you've never done it before. It's all new. As an advanced bodybuilder, even more so a super advanced bodybuilder, you know the feel. Like, when I started pull downs, for my biceps, I knew by feel where the quarter rep was, the maximum muscle tension, and when the failure's starting to come, you're slowing down even more, you're struggling, you're getting that last rep. And if I'm at the bus stop, for example, waiting for a bus and my calf's starting to get sore, I tense the muscle through habit, but I know how to tense the muscle, if you know what I mean. We stand there, waiting for the bus, your arm, legs getting sore, you start tensing the muscle. So you know where tension is, where a beginner wouldn't, maybe an intermediate wouldn't, but you would know the tension too. When you're doing your dips, you know where the tension is. And that's something you learn over the time. And once you mastered that, it comes naturally. So, I mean, I don't have to think about it. You probably don't have to think about it. It just comes.
Yeah. I think it helps also with the quarter reps.
Yeah.
With the feeling, because you can concentrate much more because the feeling is always there. As soon as
I mean, vibrating the last reps, I still got the tension where I want it, and my mind's in the muscle still, even though I'm in immense pain and I'm breathing heavily and shaking all over, but I still got the tension on the muscle. But that's just through knowing where to put it. You know what I mean? I mean, the average person, they didn't know, oh, this is heavy, or I'm in a lot of pain, or this is getting scary because the machine's vibrating. You know what I mean? There's so many things you can distract yourself with, where if you're advanced and you know your body, which I obviously do, you know exactly where to throw it. So the mind to my quads, that's all that's happening. Everything else that's happening other than that doesn't exist.
You can really focus on it. I feel that also with the slower negative.
Yeah.
Really concentrate on the feeling of the slow negative. The positive just goes without thinking. That's just it has to go up. And then the negative comes, and really focus on the muscle and really focus on the feeling until the positive comes again, and I just have to squeeze it up. And then again, and that's really something important with the slow negative. Just you can really dive into the feeling of the muscle and what you want to feel.
See, I mean, calf raise is a perfect example. I'm in pain at least 3 to 4 reps for failure. The pain when I give up. Not that I'm Superman, but that's when it gets interesting to me. So say I'm doing, for the sake of 20 reps, I'll be in pain at least by 16. When talking about pain, you think, well, should I really finish here? But then you do the 17th, and the pain really searing by this time. But you think, oh, well, it's only pain, like I've said before, block it out. The 18th, you barely make it because it's really hurting by now. And then you think, well, I've got this far. How far can I go? You do the 19th, which you barely make. You stutter through the rep almost. And then you go down, the last second wind, the big breath. I find breathing too, that's a big thing. If I'm in pain, take a big breath. I didn't cover that before. And you do the last rep. And you know, I still try 21. If I go to 20, I try 21. But you can't budget. And then as quick as possible, I've got to get the catcher and play and shuffle around my gym. So that's about 4 reps that the average person wouldn't do anyway.
Yeah.
And that's gains I'm making.
Yeah, most of the time the people do then you need a second set and a third set if you never go to that point. And
I mean, I didn't give me more than one set. I can see why now. You never give me more than one set of anything.
But you have to push through it, and that's something that also has to come with the years. I think even that that you go further and further and further. There's almost nobody who can do this immediately.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? That's what a lot of people, even in gyms I've worked in, how do you get big? You show them the way to get big. They make great gains. But then once they realize it's not a picnic or a walk in the park and it only gets harder and harder, maybe I don't want to start bad, or maybe I'll go back to my old weight because it was comfortable. I'm using my weights I used every week, my reps I used every week. It's a habit. And the human body loves the habits, you know that? That's why we do what we do on most things. We drive a certain way. We wash our hair a certain way. Sorry. We do everything a certain way. But with heavy duty, you got to be outside the box. You know what I mean? Like what I'm handling this week is going to be nothing to what I'm handling next week. What I'm handling next week is going to be nothing to what I handle next month. By the end of the year, most of my machines going to be maxed out.
Yeah.
That's the name of the beast.
Yeah, but there's some... Sorry, and there's some mentality also. I could never go back to training with multiple sets and things. It just doesn't satisfy me as a trainer. I have to push myself. If I didn't push myself, the training was nothing. So that's
set people. If they got 5 sets, they'd hold back on all the 4 sets, and they'd be even lucky to push on the 5th set. They never gained, of course. And I saw them in every gym I worked at. And I worked in about at least 6 or 8 gyms. And I never see these guys gain, ever, ever. And one guy, he was so obsessed, this guy, he broke up with his wife. That was his life. And I said to him one time, like, you hear all the time, oh, I love this, you know. I never saw him after a month. Multiple sets. He was there every time I turned off the gym. He was the last person to leave. After a month, I saw he hadn't changed. It was the same guy, and we never saw him again.
Yeah.
So he fell for the more is better mentality, and he got nothing for it. He's probably got joint problems, which I know, got no doubt about that. He used to set after set. I used to get sick of watching him. And he'd do maybe 5 or 6 sets of those 4 exercises for the chest, 4 for the back, and 4. You'll do 4 for the shoulder. No, 3 for the shoulders because 3 parts. 4 for the biceps because there's 4 sections and.
It's insane. I see this also with the ideal program. I get so many questions about what about this muscle, what about this muscle, why forearms is not in there, why abs is not in there, or because the program is of course chest, back, legs, shoulders, arms, legs, and then chest, back again. And then they say, yeah, but then you're going to train your chest only once every 3 weeks in total. And then I say, yeah, but listen, when you have shoulders, arms day, and you have the dips in a triceps exercise, what muscle group you train then? Because just Mike called it shoulders, arms doesn't mean that with the dips suddenly you don't use your chest and your chest anymore. You still use your chest. And the same with the chest back exercises. What you think you do with the pull down, you train your biceps, you train the rear of your shoulders, you do your abs if you do it hard enough. The chest the same with the chest press. What you think just because it calls it chest press that your shoulders don't get to work, that your triceps are not going to work? they just see it really as, okay, this exercise is called the chest press. Well, you press with your chest, so your triceps don't work.
It's not
Or
about the consolidation routine. People don't realize the consolidation routine, each workout is a full body workout.
yeah,
The squats, press and pull down, that's full body. The next one's a deadlift, a press, and then if you want to think calves, that's still full body. So even though they're called two different routines, it's just slight variation, but it's still full body. And people, like you say, struggle to grasp that. The full
yeah,
body routines. So basically, if you train one, you rest for 4 to 6 days, you hit again, you're working your whole body every time, just different exercises.
yeah. And then because I tried this, and then you're going to find out if you're going to see if you need some extra work for your forearms. Maybe you do. Maybe your forearms are staying behind. Try to work into the program a forearm exercise. See what happens.
Well, everyone's
Experiment
got,
yourself.
I mean, we've all got weaknesses. Even the champs have weaknesses and just know how to play them. And Mike wasn't against that either. You know, he's very open. If you had weaknesses, he understood not everyone's going to have Mentzer forearms. You know, I mean, Mentzer never trained his forearms, and look at the size of one of the best body parts he had. You lucky you got forearms, big forearms that run in my family. He never do big calves, so you know, I'd never forego calf raises, even though my calves are pretty big at the moment, because I like training calves. It took me so many years to bring them up, and now I've got them where I want them and want them bigger, of course. So I'd never omit calves, even though I probably could get away with just my leg sled. I love training calves. So yeah, Mike was more, what's the word I want to use? Electric, I think it's the word. Electric. They allow you to put in stuff, not crazy stuff like, you know, but it'll let you put in stuff you need it.
Yeah, I think it's very good to start with the basics. If we go back to a beginner's program, let's say, when you are really starting out, and then find out which muscles grow and which ones stay behind. And it's not when you include an exercise for a muscle group that stays behind. If you include it, that suddenly starts to grow. Maybe you're just not genetically gifted enough for it to make it grow. Maybe it just doesn't work for you. Doesn't matter what you do. And this is something you have to find out for yourself. If you do not want to hire a competent HIT trainer, then you have to find out yourself what's going to work. You can do every exercise in the gym and nothing happens to you because maybe you're overtraining. Maybe it just wouldn't work for you.
Well, I've got a friend at the moment. He's gone to a Gronda routine. He's got very small bone, very small frail type of bone structure. If he forgoes arm exercises, arms go down. That suits him. He just needs more. It's just the way it is. So he went to a through split, Gronda routine. His arms, he sent me the results, I think, yesterday. His arms went up 1/4 inch. But what he gained with his 3 sets per exercise, 3 days a week, I gained with one exercise and not even training arms directly. So you know what I mean? With different structures. I'm not huge in terms of body structure. My arms are 7 inches. His are 6 inches. So he's an inch smaller than me, but his body very jockey built type of bloke. So yeah, he needs a little bit more, but he can't do the intensity because of his central nervous system. If he goes all out, he's wiped out for about 5 days. And that's why I think Mike was heading towards the end, what I heard, talking to different people. So Mike realized not everyone could train crazy all the time. I can, you can, luckily, but not everyone can, you know what I mean? Is that I'm wiped out for about 2 days, but I can do it again. Different muscle, of course. But I heard Mike, as I said last time, he painted himself into a corner with the consolidation routine, and he was going to experiment with different variations later on. So pity he's not around to find out what heavy duty 2024 would have looked like. I would have loved to have seen it, but I got an idea where he would have been, you know what I mean? He would have painted away from the consolidation routine, maybe include a little bit more towards his original heavy duty in 1990. I think he would have gone back more towards that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the consolidation program is just a good way to see what is the minimum that you need, and then add yourself some exercises to see how far you can get it. Instead of you starting with 10 exercises and actually don't know what would work and what not. I think that's the only positive
Well,
thing of the consolidation program.
if you've only got 3 exercises, you're going to be able to go to failure. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. You've
Yeah,
only got this exercise, and then you ain't got this exercise, then you got this one. But if you, like you said, if you had 10 exercises, you think, oh, I've got to hold back because I got this at the end, and that's why I can't train full body. I haven't been able to train full body. Oh boy, probably since the 90s, because legs alone just take so much out of me.
yeah,
If I don't legs, the last thing I can think about is training my chest or my back.
yeah.
Back alone, with my weights, I'm handling my back. A set of lats for me just wastes the rest of my body as well.
Yeah, I think the combination of back and legs is another good combination. For
Dude,
chest, chest I can put everywhere. Doesn't matter. Chest I can always train because I like it and it doesn't take so much out of me.
Yeah.
But a back, even with a row or a deadlift or whatever, it takes so much out of me that I cannot combine it with a full leg workout.
Yeah.
And,
I've
and that,
always good muscles. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? Because I mean, even Ray, when I used to talk to a guy, I used to drive him around and watch him train back in the 90s. He said that Ray used to always do push, legs, pull. And that was Ray's favorite, which
yeah,
makes sense to me because, like I said before, you got a hard workout, you got your hardest workout, which is like a peak. You come down a little bit, you got your harder workout, and then you got 2 days rest.
yeah,
So it's getting over a hump. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. You got a hard workout to get into the start of the week. You got your hardest workout you got out of the way now. I can always get into back, so that's the hard workout for me. And then you got 2 days to sit back and relax. So it's beautiful for me.
yeah. I think something when you say it like this, because I'm also trying to find for myself the way to help me be motivated to train certain ways. And it's just a mental thing. But I think I have to earn my next upper body workout. Like now, I'm doing started the ideal program, and that's of course every time legs and then upper body, legs, upper body, legs, upper body, and I have to earn the right and the pleasure for my upper body workout by going through my leg workout, because leg workout is always the worst. I don't
Yeah.
know anybody who likes really enjoys the torture of a good leg workout. So I put in my mind that I have to earn the upper body workout by destroying my legs. So I'm dreading the leg workout, but I know that as soon as I finish it, that 2 or 3 days later, I earn the right to do my upper body workout that I like.
Yeah, I like that.
That's a mental thing because I know from back in the day when I was younger, if I didn't feel like it, well, I just skip legs and then do the upper body workout again. So yeah, the legs always stay behind. Yes, it was never fun to do and still not fun to do. But now I have just put in my mind I have to earn the right for the upper body workout by crushing it with the leg workout.
That's a great way to look. It's like
Yeah.
a reward. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's something to help with motivating.
Yeah, with me, as you know, back, I was obsessed with back when I was younger. I don't know if we talked about this. I was going to make paper mache lats. That's how
Yeah, you told me. Yeah.
And back's always come natural to me because first obsession. So back day to me, I can walk in my gym, not really even think about it. I can go through a back workout. So putting that at the end of the work week is perfect for me because it's a workout that I enjoy. Chest, I can leave it or take it, you know what I mean? I can train chest, but I don't love it. Legs, I wake up and actually start to feel sick. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it happens all the time. It's the shortest walk for my dog. So I walk, that warms me up in itself. When you say about warm-ups, I walk my dog for only about 20 minutes. It's the shortest walk of the week. That's already warmed up my legs. And the whole time I'm thinking about what's to come, and the pain that's going to come, the effect on my central nervous system. And then when the time comes, I get increasingly, it's like going to the principal's office when you're at school.
You're getting more and more nervous, yeah.
Yeah, I really, but once I'm there in my gym, I've got the weights all loaded, I'm about to start, it's just all out. Like, you put your life on the line. That's probably the easiest. As dramatic as it sounds, you put your life on the line. You know you're going to come through. I've done it many times. It's only 6 minutes, and then I'll be relaxing, and in 8 more minutes, I'll be sitting down, protein drink, whatever. So it's a matter of accepting what's to come, knowing that you're going to be fine after anyway. But legs, I saw the gym.
Yeah,
many
anxious, yeah.
legs.
Yeah, we had it back in the day also because back in the day we did squats, of course, and that's really, really terrible when you train the way we train and you do this with squats. It's not a fun thing. You really get so nervous. But as soon as you get under the weight, you lift it up and you do your first few repetitions, then it's just go time. Then all the stress goes away. But the days leading up to that workout, and it's going to be squats, and you're going to have lots of problems. You get so nervous. But I say, as soon as you get under that bar, I had it a little bit less with the leg press because you're sitting and you're pushing, but the squats is so uncomfortable.
Well, the legs
like this.
down from squats because of the stress going from the upper body to your hips.
Yeah.
It's only one down, but as soon as you get there, I can feel the weight. It's already shaking. I take that one last breath, and that's it. Once I've honed in, I started the set. That's it. And I get scared. I get terrified.
Yeah.
First, really hard, and you think, am I going to do this much? And the workout before I done 14 reps, I put 10 kilos on, thinking it'll get me down to 10 reps again. I got 14 again. So I put another 10 kilos on this week, see what I can do. So, the leg day is I won't say my least favorite because I know I need it, but the psyching up is probably the hardest part.
Yeah.
Constant psych.
And you have some emergency button with you when you train. Emergency button when you train all alone and something happens.
Well,
what you going to do?
2 holes underneath. Only comes with 1 pin, which is a pretty thick steel. Just to make sure, I've got one that came with my arm machine. I put that at the bottom one. I put the one that came with it, the top one. So if any reason that one breaks, I've got the second one. And if they both break, then you probably won't be talking to me ever again.
Because I have this when I go to my home gym myself. I'm all alone there. If something happens, I'm lying there. My wife will check out after a while, but
we got stuck. I got stuck once. My training partner, he was supposed to catch a bus and he missed it, and I had to get it done because I had to go out. And I was doing bench press. For once, I tried bench press. Never done bench press much of my life, and I got stuck. And I thought, what do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
And I rolled it down my body. So I started at my chest, all the way down my body, just got to my hips. Quickly jumped up, and he come walking up the driveway. Oh, sorry, missed my bus. For a week, I bruised all my ribs down the front. I never neither one time. It was terrible.
When the last gym I was, there was open 24 hours a day, and the last half year that I was training there, they started with having some emergency buttons. You were hanging there. You could just take him, put them around your neck, and then go train because you're all alone most of the time in the gym. Nobody's there because only the lunatics were training at 3 or 4 o'clock in the night. So you're all alone there. And the only thing what you have then is this button that if something happens, you can squeeze the button, and then somebody would come from some security somewhere in the area. Because I say no owners, nobody there. In the beginning, there were still people walking around cleaning up and things like this, but they took that away. And from 10 o'clock in the evening till 9 o'clock in the morning, just nobody was there. Nobody to help you. So then you had this emergency button around your neck. Yeah, if something happens, you're stuck for you don't know how long.
We heard the two worst I ever heard of. It was in a magazine article years ago. Lou Ferrigno was watching, he didn't realise till after, a guy was doing skull crushes, the huge weight. He dropped and pushed his nose into his brain. He turned many colours and died in the middle of the gym. And a guy was benching by himself on a Friday. All his friends wondered where he was all weekend. They went there on the Monday, he was dead. He'd been there all weekend with the bar on his chest. Yeah, that's the two worst I anyway.
Yeah, that's the crazy stuff.
Yeah,
there are exercises that you should really be careful. I mean, skull crushers.
I've only ever dropped weight on me once. It was, I think I told you before, dumbbell pullovers. Due to genetics, I can't get my arms over my head. My father's the same way. The anterior deltoid touches the trapezius. I was doing dumbbell pullovers, and my elbows gave out, and I dropped on my throat. I done it twice, sorry. Dropped on my throat one time, dropped on my nose the other time. So did Jimmy Durante for about half a week. And the other one, I was swallowing all the time. I felt like I always wanted to swallow. And my throat was swollen up for about half a week. So I don't do pullovers anymore. Mike never recommended them much, if you notice. So I just thought I'd try them. Everyone talked about back in the 70s. That was a big exercise, dumbbell pullovers. And I thought I'd give them a go. But yeah, my mate.
I still do them once in a while, but only the quarter reps. Never above my head. Yeah. As soon as you pull it a little bit further over your head, there's anyway no tension, anyway no pull on your lats anymore.
Can you get your arms over your head straight?
I go all the way as far as back as I can.
How far does your arm go up? Yeah, see? Look where my arm is.
Yeah.
I went to my doctor to talk about it. He goes, you and your father, anterior deltoid touch the trapezius. That's a range of motion. So, yeah, I'm not made for it.
Yeah. Anyway, it's lots of tension on your shoulders, so.
Oh, yeah, terrible tension. But yeah, it was a big learning curve. I was only about 18 then. It was a big learning curve. It's the only two injuries I really can say I've had in the gym. And lucky I was trained by myself. This healed up, but the nose took ages. It's very delicate. For a while, every time we touched it, you had tears come down your eyes. I thought I'd broken it, actually. I think I just bruised it.
Yeah, that's why I never, I mean, it's all, I still do it once in a while. I change it once in a while with my own pullover, where I use resistance bands and a puller bar and whole construction. And I only pull myself up by putting the bands around my elbows, and I really only pull myself up by my elbows. I don't have my hands pulling. So it's really good pullover. So I change it once in a while with a dumbbell pullover, because if I do it every week or every workout, it's just too much stress on my shoulders. I feel it very good in my lats, or my triceps also, with a pullover. So this is the reason why I do it. But I never really above my head. So it's a safety thing, and anyway, there's no tension on the lats anymore.
Yeah. I mean, when I was obsessed with squats in the 90s, I used to tell my friends I want to die with a 1,000-pound squat. It was just a mentality I had. And I got up to 400 and whatever I got up to, and it caused more harm anyway. I mean, it took years for my upper back to get back to normal. And then when I had X-rays taken, my bones have gone back to normal. So I don't miss squats whatsoever.
No, it's so much crushing on your spine and everything.
Yeah, it was curving, like I said, my bones were actually curving over. One X-ray, I still got it in my drawer. The bones were actually curving over from the pressure. And that was with the squat bar.
Yeah.
The bar actually touches its shoulder, but actually was pushing down, crushing my spine. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's shitty.
We live and learn, hey? I mean, it was Tom Platz. Tom Platz, the name in the 80s, he was talking about squats all the time. So Donny Yates fell for it too. I think we all fell for it one time. Yeah, we're all not 5'4" and with big hips. So
yes, Tom Platz is perfect, and he still do a lot of squats. It's his thing.
He's lucky though. I mean, you saw the way he squatted. He can keep his spine virtually erect. Very, in my whole life, I barely see anyone. We had one guy. He was called Duran. He was the only guy that could squat, and he was like Tom Platz in a lot of ways. Short lower body, He used the power rack. One of the few people who used the power rack in the gym I worked at, and his spine wasn't quite erect. It was a little bit forwards, but he was a perfect squatter. And that's one out of hundreds.
Yeah.
He was made for squats.
Yeah, I think when you don't have this, then you should not squat.
Nah. I mean, look at Dorian Yates. He had to give it up because of his hip injury.
Yeah.
Me and Dorian, we're both 5'11". I'm 5'10" now. So you get shorter, you get older. He got the hip injury. I got the upper back injury. Not everyone's made for squats. We all know that.
Yeah, it didn't do so much for me also.
Nah.
So it's
more... Actually got better when I stopped squatting.
Yeah. I still do squat, but then a belt squat. So no pressure on my back.
Yeah.
If I would have a leg press, then I would use a leg press thing. But
well, I trained a guy years ago. He was trying to be a national ranked powerlifter. I forget which state it was, and he was going through some issues with his fiancée. She had what do you get it when they had been by attack, Lyme disease. She had Lyme disease, so she was giving him grief. He was struggling to become a national ranked powerlifter. I trained him for a month. He became number 3 in his state. He broke up with her. And the last time I saw him, he looks like a big grizzly bear now. He grew a big beard, got a really attractive fiancée, and his squats. And what I taught him, because the way he was built, I taught him to rotate through his fulcrum, concentrate on nothing but rotating through your fulcrum, which is your middle of your body, of course. And his squats just went up and up. And yeah. So he was made for squats. He was a short, heavy lower back, heavy lower body guy.
Yeah, strong hips.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah. He was. He had those thick legs, the thick legs, the wide. Yeah. It was like that almost. Perfect for squat.
Yeah.
Like Tom Platz.
Yeah. Yeah. Then people think, oh yeah, to get legs like Tom Platz, I have to train like that.
Yeah.
You have to do squats. You have to do the crazy sets, what he was doing.
Well, even his chest. I mean, he virtually only done bench for his chest. And you saw Tom Platz. That was the next best body part. Beautiful. Me and you could do them till the cows come home. We never have that full chest that Platz had.
No.
That's the beast.
Yeah, it's all genetics.
Franco
and hard work, of course, and hard work.
Yeah, well, Franco Columbo's another one. Got tons out of bench because had the little fire structure body. You could get a lot out of benches. But, me and you aren't built. I mean, I've got fairly long arms. You've got probably fairly long arms too. That's why I don't get a lot out of benches, or nothing out of benches, actually.
No, I was always good with bench press, but the most I got out were working with dumbbells or the right machines, like dumbbell flies, dumbbell presses. It did more than the bench press itself. But yeah, I like the bench press because everybody was bench pressing. You try to bench as much as you can. So that's some ego exercise. But
do you remember
if you do
Lance Dreher? Mr. Universe?
Yes.
I went and saw him in seminar. I've still got it on cassette. I snuck in a tape recorder. Wasn't supposed to on a tape to seminar. I listened to it. And he never got much out of bench. If you look at his chest, he's not made for bench. But he said dumbbell too. And Lance Dreher had a decent chest, not fantastic. But he mainly had a massive back, massive arms. But his chest never got anything out of benches. And I mean, he used like 300 pounds on his tricep extensions to go strong, very strong. He reckons the second biggest guy in the gym tried to kill him.
Okay.
He said he asked this guy to spot from one time. He said, "You got the weight?" He goes, "Yeah." And as Lance Dreher stood up, the weight came down and broke the bench. He said, "That's funny." He started asking everyone in the gym, and this guy wanted to be the biggest guy in the gym, so he's trying to kill off all the other bodybuilders. Someone asked him to spot for him. He deliberately do a mistake to try to kill him. What a story.
Yeah. That's why you should never have anybody spotting you that you don't know.
Yeah. Well, 300 pounds on tricep extensions. I can't imagine that.
Hey, you need somebody really good for spotting then.
He was a funny guy. I wish you'd have seen him in seminar. He paid out. He was the only champ to power other bodybuilders. he put 2 ping pong balls in his cheeks, and he done Tom Play. And he had a pose. He got to do something, another leg pose. He done Robbie Robinson. He put on a wig. It was all in good nature.
Oh,
And then
fun.
and he goes, "You can pay me out if you want to." He goes, "But you got to remember one thing." He goes, "You got to have the arms." And he done the famous Sergio Olivier pose. What I had, I saw him up close. A very honest bloke. He had massive arms, and he knew it was his best body part.
Did he have this very long biceps?
Massive. And he
Yeah.
had these big legs. He had these massive legs, like he had big knee joints. And when he came on stage, his quads literally swung backwards and forwards. That's how huge it was. Up until the time of the biggest bodybuilder I ever saw in my life.
Okay.
But yeah, nothing on the benches, and he reckons he was strong on arms. But even then, benches didn't do anything for him. He was good in the back, good in the legs, massive on the arms, not on the chest.
Yeah.
He's still big. I saw a photo online a while ago. He's still got the big biceps. So
it's genetics. It's all genetics with these things.
Exactly.
You could try whatever you want, and and that's, I think, also a problem with many people who are asking questions, that they're looking for somebody that has big arms, big biceps, and then I ask, "How do you train your biceps?" And they want to follow the same program, and you're never going to get it.
You saw Kevin Larone. When Kevin Larone goes off steroids, he's just an average guy. When he goes back on steroids because there's receptors, the guy's huge.
In a short while.
Delts that he's known for, just the average delts.
Yeah. In just a short while. It's there.
Yeah, it's that way. I mean, when I saw him, he wasn't on because he had to come over to Australia, but he was still massive. And once he took off his tracksuit, those delts, they were smaller than what they were in the magazines, but they were just massive.
Yeah.
A nice guy. And with him, he could be the biggest he wanted to be or the smallest he wanted to be, you know what I mean? And anything about you don't have the luxury, you know?
No. Or he was training or he wasn't training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just genetics.
Yeah, it is like this.
That he didn't become Mr. Olympia, had Nike as a sponsor. And he's supposed to be the next big thing, and he didn't quite get there.
No, it's too bad.
We learned from Dr. He was short workouts, naps, as we talked about last time.
Yeah.
And he was trained less, from what I understand. Last I heard, he was doing a 3-way split. I don't know if that's right, but that's what I heard. So,
okay. He was a training partner or training with Dorian Yates a few times?
That's where the naps from How to Tap In was back. You saw his back, it was massive. And he learned a lot from training with Yates.
Okay. Yeah, but it's too bad nobody holds on to the workouts with Yates. I don't know if you saw the video with what's his name, Cormier? Yeah, he's throwing up outside.
Yeah. Well, he wouldn't be used to that type of intensity. That would be like, unworldly. It's like when Arnold visited Nautilus headquarters one workout and he had to get out of there. He wasn't used to that.
Yeah. No. It was not the hard worker, but it doesn't matter actually. It's about the results that you get. It's not that because you can't work hard that suddenly you don't mean anything.
You notice after Jones got rid of the rush factor? When I was working for Nautilus, it was still borderline. Remember the rush factor? You had to rush from one exercise to the next.
Yes.
So they took that out. So I think they saw what's so important.
I think it doesn't do much else than work your cardiovascular system. If you go from one exercise to the other and you're breathing like a horse, how far can you get with that exercise, with the neck exercise?
I find 2 minutes speaks about average. A minute to recuperate from the exercise, and then a minute to get my head ready for the next exercise. So it's taken years to work it out. I used to try 3, 5 from John Christie. You remember John Christie? He trained like 5,000 people. Nice bloke. And he said 5 minutes to me. It's like watching, right?
When you go 5 minutes, then you're getting out of the zone. Anyway, I do. If I go too fast, then it depends on, of course, because you're doing all compound exercises. So if you do exercise like a dumbbell curl,
Yeah.
then I do not need 2 or 3 minutes rest, and I can
Yeah.
do this after 1 minute. I could go to the next exercise. It doesn't matter what exercise it is. Recover, of course, much faster like that. But when you finish with squats or a leg press or a pull down or a row, then take your time. But if I rest too long, I start losing the zone. I want to
Yeah.
stick into this mentality to crushing it. And as soon as you go sit down and you sit down too long, then it's starting to relax all and to get back into that zone.
Exactly. Then you got to cycle up repeatedly, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not body anyway, because you're at a peak, as you said, you go down too low, then you got to go up again,
yeah.
and you go. Powerlifters do that, but they're only doing like 1 or 2 reps, so a bit different.
That's all what they do. They do not have to stimulate muscle growth. They just have
Yeah.
to move the weight.
Yeah. But I mean, after legs, that's why I always put legs last, or my quads last. I have to. If I do quads before calves, I can still do calves, but I'm
Yeah.
still sorry.
Yeah.
But you would talk with that Wolf guy. He was saying about doing calves first because it's stretching out the Achilles tendon. You get better range of motion on your quads.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
I've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
It makes.
Yeah, also, but what you said before already with the calves, that the 4 reps before you hit the failure, then it already starts to hurt so much. And if you would do quads first, it's very hard to do those last 4 or 5 repetitions. It's just mentally you're starting to
You're
break.
already in pain zone anyway, but
Yeah,
after cuff around my gym for about 2 minutes, and this seems to be just enough. I can jump on my leg sled, refocus, and away I go. And then at the end of it, that's the end of it. You know what I mean? In another minute, I get off the leg. When I get off the leg sled, I've got to wedge myself out of it. Then you shuffle in the house, and that's the end of your workout.
yeah. I think it's also it can be harmful for your system when you go first for your quads and then do either a leg sled calf press, a standing calf press. Your legs are shaking because they're exhausted, and then injury is very quickly in your knees.
People ask me all the time. I've always had bulgy hamstrings. I barely ever trained them. I think I trained them a little bit during the 80s. I didn't get much out of it. And my hamstrings always bulge.
Yeah.
The negative work for my quads.
Yeah.
So people ask me all the time, why you don't do any hamstrings? I don't need to. Why put in more?
Yeah, it's the same for me with my forearms. What you do for forearms? Nothing. Yeah. You're one of those guys who say that they're not doing anything for the forearms. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. Yeah, I even use straps when I do back exercises just to make sure that my forearms get not that much tension and not that much work because they keep growing. I trained them for a few months. I think last year they become ridiculous. So I have to try to avoid it even.
Yeah. See, I mean, Doyle had the same problem, didn't he?
Yeah.
He never trained his forearms, and if you saw him in real life, they were a bunch of grapes.
Yeah. And same with Mike Mentzer, of course. Also, no forearm work. And some people they just don't have it, or they need the stimulus, or it doesn't matter what stimulus they get. Anyway, it's not going to grow.
Yeah.
So,
well, hamstring makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, you got to be braking on the way down. What are you braking with? You're braking with your hamstrings.
Yeah.
Seconds down, you're already braking slowly. It's like a negative. That's why I look at it. And you're doing a negative on your hamstrings, positive on your quads. So you're getting both sides anyway. I haven't worked hamstrings now since ever.
Yeah, and I have to put them in there, or else it's just not going for my hamstrings. It doesn't matter. But I don't have a leg sled. I don't have a leg press. Or maybe if I do that exercise, it would be a little bit different. But with the squats, what I'm doing, the belt squats, I do not have the same reaction from my hamstring, so I have to include it.
Yeah, well, you got to add. I mean, you add like we said last time, like Bruce Lee and Mike Mentzer. You add what's necessary, you take out what's not necessary. We're all different, you know. I mean, basically we're the same, but we've got slight variations enough to vary things.
Yeah, so some muscle groups just get easier stimulated than others, and some people have everything, the genetic freaks, and some people don't have anything, they're not growing, doesn't matter what they're doing. And the most average Joe, they have a few good parts, a few bad parts, and you have to deal with
Well,
it.
delts. I mean, the last thing for me to come up with delts, and I listened to the overlap thing with delts. I didn't train delts from about probably late 80s through to 90s. And once I got into quarter reps, first of all, I've done those Gronda presses.
Mm-hmm.
They actually
Yeah.
work delts, laterals didn't. Once I got into quarter reps, within 2 or 3 weeks, I saw the results. And that's what everyone's saying now about the quarter reps. You see the thickness and the split. You get a split down here, which you don't have before. You know, it's the exercise. It's the way you perform. I do high pulls, which is only a short range of motion, which is a compound, which gets your forearms. Nice way to wrap up my back, you know what I mean? Because backs you're pulling down, this you're pulling up. Perfect. But not many people do high pulls. I learned it from Bill Sarley. He was huge in the high pull.
Yeah. Yeah, you see them more often, the high pulls. Or no, not the high pulls. But what the high pulls is not that high as an upright row.
Not upright, no.
Yes.
It's only to belly button. With quarter, it's actually below belly button.
It is quarter reps.
I'm a power tech rather, which means it's aligned with my body. It's not in front or behind. And I just pull up while contracting my delts, which only here, which is only about halfway between my groin area and my belly button. I hold for 1 second and slow it down. And then the kind of exercise, the more you get into it, you can actually eke out extra reps. You know what I mean? Like you get to about 10, say, you can feel the pain already. You can eke out 2 more every time. I don't know how it works, but you think, oh, I can do 1 more. You just get it. I can eke 1 more. Then suddenly you just can't move. And that's when you're on a failure.
Yeah.
So it's not think you can do, you just can't move the bar.
Yeah.
One of the high pulls love what they do for their delts.
And then you have a wide grip or a close grip or just a neutral.
Close grip, only from here, because of my power tech, I mean, you can do it if you want it here. You just come up along the side, outside of your thighs. So outside your thigh. If you were using a bar, you do it along the side of your thighs, which before I got the power tech, I used to do it that way. You can do dumbbells, but it's a little bit tricky because you use a lot of weights.
Yeah.
And you just along the side of your thighs, you just feel, only about that angle for your arm, and you feel your delts pop. And you just hold the contraction. That's the secret. Just hold the contraction for a second and then down again. So you don't use any momentum, all slowly hold down. And within 12, you got to do a little bit higher, at least 10 because of being delts. But if you run 12 to 15, you'll feel the pain. And then for 3 or 4 days, which I never had sore delts in my life, when you wash your hair or you drive or, anything you reach, you feel the effects.
Yeah.
So once a week is more than enough.
Yeah, I think with the bar is also better than with the dumbbells. I tried some a few years ago when I was still going in the gym doing upright rows with dumbbells. And the first few workouts go great because you can still control where you keep your hands. But as soon as you go heavier and heavier, because you get stronger, so you try heavier weights, you just notice that your hands coming closer and closer together. So it's not the same movement anymore. Nice when you can stay here. Yeah, you start with here, and if you step back and you look at it and you tape it, and you can just see the hands coming closer and closer because the weight's getting more heavier. It becomes a different exercise. So when you use a bar, it's always there. It's always the same. So always.
The power tech, you just got to concentrate on moving. You don't have to concentrate on balance. You can see one of my Mentzer love machines, and all I got to do is just concentrate on my side delts. That's it. Nothing else. And I'm using around 300 at the moment. That's when you finish, that's a whole body workout in itself.
Yeah.
The legs, stabilizing your core, stabilizing the upper body, and that's the last exercise on my back and shoulder day, and then that's it. So that's one of my easier days.
Yeah. I have this now with shoulders and arms. That's my easy day. It's just only one heavy exercise, and that's the dip, and the rest is all easy actually. And after that, I even feel that what I did actually but yeah, you did enough.
Yeah. When you say easy, it's easier. It's not easy.
Easier than legs.
Yeah, God.
Legs
Anything's easier than
and back.
legs.
Yeah. So that's
I mean,
easier.
tomorrow morning, I've got chest and arms. I'll psych up before I go to sleep tonight. Dog gets an average walk on training days. So about 4 or 5 in the morning, I'll take him about an hour, half an hour to see how I feel. And then once I'm locked in, it's just, it's training day. But being chest, I'm comfortable in my Nautilus chest press. So
Yeah.
better. It's like sitting in your car. You get real comfortable. I'm finding now if you push into the backrest. I saw Lee Priest using it, Lee Labrada, on a video recently uploaded. He gets comfortable. You get comfortable in the machine. He's concentrating on the chest.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard workout, but then
It's
they got leg on Thursday. So.
everything what you can sit or lie down, it's all relaxed. I mean, even when I do skull crushers, lying triceps extensions, I'm lying on the bench. Okay, I have to get the bar up, and the exercise is heavy, but you're lying there, and it's different when you do a squat, or that's really uncomfortable.
Well, even the leg sled. I mean, I don't know if you ever used leg sled. You actually got to get your back firm up against where it rests in your hips.
Yeah, your lower back really gets a nice position that you're in a strong position. Yeah.
The machine, like I said, the shaking starts to freak me out even. To get in and shaking, you think, oh, you look at the weights this side, they're up the ends, and all these 25 kilo plates, you think, geez. Yeah. But once again, the bar's starting to, I can see it, bar's starting to bend a little bit. I don't use collars, I'm going to have to start using collars. But yeah, the bar's starting to just bow out a little bit. So
yeah, but as soon as you start your set and it becomes heavy, you don't think of anything anymore that what can happen.
The hardest, I think, because it's new. You know what I mean? Like it's a new way, it's a new rep. You've never used it before. Second rep gets, I won't say easier, but you think, oh yeah, I can feel this. Then around midway, you wonder if you're going to continue. You know what I mean? Like you're really struggling, and then you just get like a second wind.
Yeah.
And then when I'm going to do 14 reps, around 9 or 10, I'm really starting to doubt myself. Not doubt myself fully, but could I make it? And you think, yeah, I can do this. You know what I mean? Then once you do the 12th, you think, I got another one in me. And the last rep, you go down, you think, am I going to make it? And that's when you started through the rep. And, if you went down, you'd stay down. So quickly, lucky the arm's just here. I put it in place. And I can't get off the machine straight away. I've got to stay there for a while because of the pain. So I stay there for about, 10, 15 seconds, and I can get off. So, yeah, it's pretty.
You do some forced reps that you help with your hands a little bit, pushing your hands.
Goes on there, but because your hands comfortably on the handles, so I focus on using thumbless grip. Like Arthur Jones, we learned at Nautilus, I do a thumbless grip, so I don't grip too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get the blood pressure up. If you as soon as you squeeze everything, then
because the handle's so thick on the Nautilus machine, they're like that. I'm learning to hold it and not push with my thumbs or anything. Push with my palms. So, and I've got a special. I think I've told you I've got a special. It's in my book. I've got a special pull down for the my lats. So that's all through my palms as well. I think a lot of people grip too tight. I mean, that's another thing. You grip too tight, you're taking away from what you're trying to do.
Yeah. You have to see your hands as hooks. Not grip too hard, because maybe your forearms burn out quickly also, because you lose it. Just use them as hooks, and don't think of your arms when you do the pull down. Or you do the pull down for your biceps, then focus on your biceps. But when you do it purely for your lats, don't think of your arms at all.
When I do the pull downs for my biceps, different when I do pull downs for the back, I do that on my power tech, and I just pull, and I'm looking the whole time because I can't get my arms up anyway. I just pull, and I know where the quarter range is. And as we talked about before, my machine clicks when it gets to parallel anyway. Weights at maximum. So I get there, it gets click, and I know it's full contraction. I go up again, click, click. And then when I get toward the end, they're slowing down. So the clicks are coming a little bit less space between them. So click, click, you know, and then the last one, you're getting down, you're waiting for the click, and click, and then you go up and you can't move the bar again. And that's the end of the set.
But it's a great motivation. That is a great motivation. This clicking. They should
confirm. I don't know anyway where it is, but the click said like confirm. You know what I mean? Like click, click.
Yeah, you reach that certain point what you wanted to reach. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got something to do with the bar's parallel, the way the power tech's made. You've seen power techs. The bar goes up through two pulleys, and it clicks at a certain point. And I think maybe the way the welding's done or whatever, and it must be the way it clicks in a place. So it goes click, click, and that works in unison rather, with my biceps. So it's beautiful. Yeah, and I look forward to time because it's like it's a motivation two ways: motivation from doing it there with my arms, and motivation to get the machine to click. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, but it's also motivation. Yeah, because you get to that certain point that you know, okay, I want to reach that.
Yeah.
I follow some guy on Instagram also. He has some leg press with some rope on it. So the rope is a certain length that he knows that as soon as he pushes and can't get further, that's the point that he wants to reach, because you don't want to have full extension, because the last part with the leg press doesn't do much.
Yeah.
So he has a rope in between. So when he's pushing, then after a while, just can't go further. And he knows, okay, then I go back. So you can't go, because back in your mind, after a while, your brain will have it the easy way. So you go a little bit further. You see this also when people get tired, they go more full reps and they rest and they extended position, take a few deep breaths and go back. But now with this rope, you can't go that far. You can try to rest here, but it's not resting.
Yeah.
So it's a really brilliant. They should have it actually in every exercise, that you can just put a measurement.
See the guy blow out his knees the other day doing pressing up a tractor tire?
No.
Terrible. A young lad got down, put his feet on the rim of a tractor, back end of a tractor, where the tire is, inside the tire, pushed it up, and his knees went. Yeah. And that was Nautilus. We had debates about it. We actually had a bulletin board with a big debate about straightening legs, and I was always against straightening legs because we had the duo squat, which is a terrible machine, and the duo squat, people were straightening the legs, and we had it was a meeting. It was in a meeting once we had people were saying about straightening legs, not straightening legs, and I was always against it. I've never straightened my legs ever in my life on leg work.
No, you just have to go a little bit overextend it, and then it
doesn't take much.
I don't like to watch this video.
When your quads are strong, as you know, they're one of the strongest muscles by your glutes. You're going from a strong muscle to a delicate area, which is your knees, which are very can move different directions within point. So you're taking the stress off a second strongest muscle onto a delicate area. Not a smart move.
No, I always keep a little bit of a bend in the knee, and I know that it's resting and you push, but if you overextend it, you screw yourself. I really hate this program.
The famous saying, "Pain makes cowards of us all," and that's why people make it easier and easier and easier. Because they think, "Oh, if I can just rest a couple of seconds, I'll just get a reprieve here," which is the wrong way to look at it. We think the other way. I try to make it harder, where in a lot of people, they try to make it easier.
Yeah.
And that's been success and failure.
But it's a mental thing. And I think that's a very interesting part also, how to go through that part, that it starts to get heavy, and how you can change your mindset at that moment in thinking, the set just starts and let's do it. And there's not really many people who can do this.
It's blocking it out, like we talked about last time. If you can block it out, you know you're not going to get hurt for a start. People are pain with injury. That's the average person. Pain equals injury. There's good pain, there's bad pain, which we talked about. This is a good pain. It's one you embrace, the one that's going to lead to the best gains, progress, everything good, nothing bad. So if you embrace the good, which is what it is, you know you're going to come out of it. It's only mere seconds. It's not like you can train to failure for an hour or train for even for a minute. You know what I mean? When you're towards the last rep, it's only, what are we looking at, another 5-10 seconds? Probably, you know what I mean? Not much in it, really, psychologically. And we all can do something for 5-10 seconds. So that's why I look at it. When it gets interesting, which is when the pain starts searing, you can go another, say, 2 reps. It's 10 seconds out of your day. That's nothing. You know, what can you do in life for 10 seconds that you're going to get a big benefit out of? Nothing. You can't work for 10 seconds. You can't learn to paint for 10 seconds. You know what I mean? You can't ride a bike for 10 seconds, be the best cyclist. But for muscle growth, the way I look at it, you got 2 more reps, say. You're in pain at 8, you got 2 more reps. You do them, and you're resting in 15 seconds later, or you don't do those 2 reps. What's 10 seconds? And that's the way I look at it. When it gets in pain, I know I'm not going to get hurt. It's just a tunnel. If you can go through that tunnel and get the other side, you're fine.
And you do this during your set, this mindset, this thinking, that you're really at the moment and just realize this is the point. This is, now we're going to do it.
I think it's the hypnosis. With the hypnosis, like I told you last time, well, I learned to put pain in a box, put it on a shelf, and put it at the back of the shelf. And it only becomes significant if I pull it off the shelf. If I don't pull it off the shelf, it's nothing. And pain is nothing, really. It's only what your mind perceives it to be. So if you see pain as a negative, which most people do, oh, pain, I've got to stop. That's natural. It's built in us. If we touch something hot, that's a bad pain. Of course, you take your hand away without even thinking. But you embrace the good pain. And the good pain is really nothing. I mean, I can't emphasize it enough. It's not being a hero. It's not being a robot. I'm not a robot. But you've got to get your mind into what it is. And if it's nothing, which it is, it means nothing. It means everything in terms of gains. But for your the sake of your well-being, it means nothing. And the hypnotist, once he told me that, I started thinking of pain in a different way. You know what I mean? Like, I already trained intensely, don't get me wrong. But in 96, when I had the hypnosis, completely different. Pain was on, it's nothing now. You know what I mean? If I stub my foot, it still hurts, but then I can still pull it back. I can think, well, that's a bad pain, but I can control that. I mean, I got my thumb sewn up about 5 years ago with an anesthetic. She started to sew me up. I cut her on the air conditioner, and she went off the room to a code blue. And she came back. She goes, oh, it's been too long. I said, just go ahead. She goes, you don't want another injection? I said, just sew it. And with each one, she lied to me. She goes, one more. It's about 6 stitches. And I could feel it going in. I feel it coming inside, but I just blocked it out. And I wouldn't recommend it, but yeah.
Yeah, but at the end, it's just pain.
Yeah.
It's a difference between you get into an accident and they have lots of pain from this. Yeah. You don't know what's the problem. I mean, internal bleedings or whatever. Now, if I have the same when I hit my head or whatever. It's not bleeding. Okay, I just rub it a few times. It hurts even more, but then that's it. It's gone. Yeah. But with the dentist also, when I had last time I had some filling that had to be renewed because it was there already from 1993. Yeah. I mean, my fillings are older than most of my viewers. So I had to remove it. And she asked also, do you want to have some anesthesia? I say, just start without and we'll see. I mean, you feel the nerve, but that's only 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and that's it. I mean, it's just, I can handle a lot of pain, but if I feel comfortable in a comfortable setting, like I trust her, nothing's going to happen. I only get some pain from the nerve. That's it. Nothing else going to happen. And it's the same in the gym. You're doing the exercise. You're in a comfortable. You know this pain. It's not your friend, but it's also not your enemy, because you know the pain is going to lead good things. It is different when you feel some tearing pain.
Yeah.
That's something new. And you know there's something wrong, but the pain that we get while with your last few repetitions, you know this pain.
Mm.
You understand that if you go there, nothing is going to happen. Yeah, you're going to get the results from it, but there's no harm. And I think that's something with people who start training, they do not recognize that pain. They do not. The brain does not know what is this pain all about. Is it bad pain, a good pain, or whatever? We know it. We embrace it. It's still not fun, but we
Mm.
embrace it as something familiar.
Well, it's never fun. I mean, to be honest, pain's never fun. But the way I
No.
look at it, you're at 23 hours and 58 seconds left of the day to relax.
Yeah.
You work out the percentage, 10 seconds of pain here, and I'm relaxing this much amount of time. So if I can't take this, I really don't, like you were saying before, being reward. When I do a leg workout, I'm rewarded with relaxing. I have to
Yeah.
relax, I'll relax. And then about 3-4 hours later, the DOMs started kicking in. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's just why I'm made. But if I don't earn that, and that's why I look at it for me, I've always got DOMs somewhere in my body. My chest kicked in yesterday from last Tuesday, believe it or not, but it's gone today, thank God. But yeah, I earned the weight that I put on. I earn. It's something you earn, of course. And if I can go up, say, an average of 5 kilos, say, per exercise per workout, I earned those 5 kilos. If I held back, I really don't deserve that, and I would have gone into the next territory. So enough, as we were saying before, I want to say enough's never enough. Handling now is good. I'm proud of what I'm handling now, but next year I'd be ashamed if I was handling the same weights. I really would. Even next month, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm not Superman by any means. I'm not Ray Mentzer strength, but I know what I'm handling now is beyond what I even thought I could handle. So that's why I've got a heavy duty equipment, which you need, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it gets expensive too, buying weights, heavy duty machines and that.
It
not
is,
cheap.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that North's machine, I still can't believe. I looked it up the other day, and people are still selling that North's chest machine for about average of $2,600. I paid $220. I'll be
Yeah.
maxing out probably mid-year.
Okay. And how are you going to cope with that?
Probably work out a way to put weight plates on top or bands. That's the other thing. Because of the way I design, I've got heavy duty bands that I got for free a while ago. And I'll work out a way to put bands on. That'll be my first idea. Or there's a little slot. If I can put a weight plate at 25 kilos, that'll keep me going a little bit longer. But I've only had since just for Christmas. I'm up to about 3/4 of the weight stack. So I started at 1.25. I've never used it before. I'm looking at mid-year. A leg sled. What are we now? Just reached April. Probably max it out next month or the month after. So again, bands. May even have to go to super slow or single-legged. That's the other thing I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the work ways to keep going, as you're getting stronger.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah. The problem with the bands is that there's less resistance in the stretch position. So actually, what you want, it does the opposite.
Especially with quarter reps.
Yeah.
But the problem, I mean, what do? You know what I mean? Like, I can't keep buying equipment forever. I may have to get another. That's the other thing. I really don't want to, so I love the leg sled. But once it gets to a certain point, single-legged, I've got a mate who's a cyclist, got massive quads, beautiful shaped quads, and he's using a single leg work. And I've seen studies that actually say single is better, single limb, because you concentrate on one side, firing on one side. I'm going to look more into that as I get stronger as well. Not so much on arms, but just on my legs. You've seen the study?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the same with my calves. I do standing calf raises with the belt, with weights. And yeah, when you use two legs at the same time, you handle much more weight because your body weight is, of course, now distributed by two legs. And the weights that I have to use, but after a while, my weights are this thick, 25 kilos. So my stack is going to be like this. So I'm standing with my legs completely wide because the weights are between. So now with when I do one leg at the same time, I'm using less than half of it because now my body weight is distributed by like
Yeah.
only one leg. So that's already more heavy. So I can use less weight. That's option that I had to take.
Well, that's what I done with the power factor training. Remember power factor training, the way the weights got
Mhm.
so heavy? A lot of people came to like one arm pull downs and things like that. And I think it's going to be the nature of the beast because I can't, like I said, I can't keep buying machines. I can't keep buying weights. I've got about 2,000, maybe more pounds at the moment. I've got heavy duty machines. I can afford it. Don't get me wrong. I just don't want to keep buying machines. Because then
Mhm.
you got the other one, which is a hassle. Then you got to get used to another machine. You got to hunt around and get a good bargain. You got to get it delivered, which is never cheap. Then I've got to get it set up in my gym. I've got to move things around. It's just, you know
Too
what I
much
mean?
hassle.
Like, I'll do it.
Yeah, it's too much hassle.
It is. I mean, the North machine, I didn't think I'd max it out so quickly. You know, but hey, if I wasn't, I'd be doing something wrong. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's why maybe one leg it could be just have.
Well, with the Nautilus machine, you can actually can do it one arm at a time. I haven't tried it, but I know Ray and Mike. I don't know if you've ever seen the photos. They train one side, one arm at a time a lot on the chest moves.
Oh, never
They
saw.
never talk about it in their books or anything. I've seen tons of photos. You got Ray doing single arm cable crossover.
Oh yeah. I saw Mike. I think a photo of it. Yeah.
Never talked about it much. I never got to talk to him about it, but I tried. I didn't get much out of it personally, but it looks like even they tried it out as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
my most exercise was concentration kill. So each
yeah.
one is itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, some exercises like cable crossovers is of course a little bit difficult to do with one side because of the
Probably can
balance.
do it because the way it's balanced.
Yeah.
My machine, the cross machine, maxes out only around 160 kilos. So I've got about another handful of workouts. So then I may try to cut the weight in half and just try one arm. You know what I mean? Like it's there. So,
Yeah. We have to stabilize the other arm, the other side. Do not
got a good seat
pull
here. So
yourself. Yeah.
on the Nautilus machine, you can always you got the seat there, so you can push. But you only got to push there anyway.
Yeah.
It's funny. The more advanced you get, the more you've got to be inventive, and you got to work out ways to train safer.
Yeah, especially when you have your own gym, of course. When you go to a commercial gym, you just choose an exercise that has more weights.
Some of their gyms. I mean, I worked in a few commercial gyms. I don't know whether I trust everyone.
Mm,
The old blue machines, the old blue Nautilus machines, they were the best.
yeah.
By the way, and they were very hard. You've used the old blue machines. They were the hardest of the Nautilus machines, plus the best. And I never got up more than about half the weight stack on those. It was so hard. That was the old cam and the chain and everything. Yeah. If I had the money, I'd buy that. But, you know, getting them here would be like impossible. I haven't seen those since the 90s, early 90s.
Yeah.
You got any in your area? You ever seen the blue?
No. In my area, there's nothing, almost nothing from Nautilus. Not the old ones, especially not now.
Well, my mate just moved to Thailand, and he took him 2 gyms to find Nautilus, but they're the really old ones. When I say old, they made a commercial line that were made more for like women and general public, and he's maxed up the pulling machine already. He's been there about 2 or 3 weeks. So
No, here they have only the modern stuff. The walls
when he
shiny.
had heavy equipment, he went over to Thailand thinking this huge gym, massive gym. It's called something factory, massive gym, but they got these average Nautilus machines. And he's the guy with the big legs. He's a cyclist, so he's not huge in the upper body, but he's maxing out the machines already. So
yeah. Okay, I think we leave it like that.
sure.
If somebody still listening, still watching this, if you have any questions for Kevin, you can post them down below in comment section. I think Kevin is going to watch it and
Yeah. I
give
always
me
answer.
some response, and keep buying his book.
Yeah.
You can still order it, right?
Yeah. It's selling well, actually. So yeah, selling
It's
extremely.
good. It's good, and we have to keep the heavy-duty legacy alive, of course.
Sure. Yeah. And Mike seems to get surgeons recently. Have you noticed? Everyone's jumping
Sorry?
on the bandwagon with YouTube videos and that. So
Everybody who is a name on YouTube tries to jump on the wagon, positive or negative. It doesn't matter actually.
and John Little
Try
said a
to.
lot of people are talking about it and they haven't got any right to. So you got to be careful, like I'm not an expert, I probably am expert the most, but he said a lot of people are commenting they got no right to. So you got to watch out. You got to pick your sources, so to speak. A lot of people, they got books out there they shouldn't have rights to. Just variation of Mike's books, you know what I mean? They really don't know what they're talking about. And that's not to put people down, it's just facts. So you can't reinvent too many times.
That's why. Okay. See you next time, and
Thank you. Take care.
bye bye.